are you? Welcome. Today we're going to talk about how to stop obsessive thinking. You know, those moments, especially when we are trying to detach from someone or a situation that is no longer serving us, that really we made the decision, okay, I'm moving on from this situation, and then we cannot escape the recurring thoughts, obsessive thinking over and over and over again every day, many times a day. It is possible to stop that. In this video, I'm going to show you how to do it. But first, let me say thank you, all of you who subscribe to my channel. It is very important. I really appreciate your support. I put a lot of time and energy and a lot of love into the content of these videos, and I would like to reach more people. And when you subscribe to my channel, you are helping me to do that. So thank you. So let's go back to recurring thoughts, especially negative thoughts. Did you realize that every time, as soon as you wake up in the morning, your mind starts bringing thoughts to your awareness? And you may have the same thoughts every day, many times a day, from the moment you wake up to the moment you fall asleep. So there is one thing you can ask yourself, where are those thoughts coming from? And you may find that those thoughts are coming from mostly fears. So step number one, write those thoughts down in a piece of paper. That is very helpful because, you know, something happened in the process when we are thinking something and we write it down and we see what we wrote. We get a different kind of awareness that is very helpful for us to, you know, really take another look to the contents of our mind, right? So I would say step number one, write those thoughts down without filtering anything. Just as the thought is coming to you, just write it down, no judging, no editing, no trying to make it look better. Just write it down just as they are. You know, I did this a few minutes ago, and I wrote, these are my recurring thoughts. So once you have your list like this one, and you can go over the list, and first of all, you will realize, oh my God, this is what I'm thinking. First thing that you notice probably is that most of your thoughts are centered on the other person, what the other person did to you, right? And the second thing is all the thoughts about yourself. When you write, for example, I don't deserve this, or I deserve better, that is a very important thought, because part of you is waking up to the realization that there is you in this equation. It's not just the other person, it's about you, right? So step number two, I would ask you to, after you have your list, every time in your list there is a thought like, he doesn't care about me, or he doesn't care about my feelings. If you wrote something like that, ask yourself, are you taking care of your own feelings? When the thought is, you know, I deserve better, feel it. Feel it, because that is something that is centered on yourself. Because when we are dealing with those thoughts about another person, we are forgetting to take a look at who we are, how we feel, what we want, and what is good for us and what is not good for us. So, when part of your thoughts are about what the other person didn't do or is not doing, about the connection, apply those to yourself. How do I care about my feelings? Am I paying attention to my own thoughts and my emotions? How am I taking care of myself? Yeah, so that way you are using this material that is very important, but to learn about the process where you are forgetting the most important person in this equation, which is you. So the third step is actually is in between the one and the first and the second step, is become the observer, because the only way that you can work and realize what is going on is when you become the observer of your own thoughts. It's like you are no longer the thoughts. Some people have a hard time understanding when I say you are not your thoughts, because we are not our thoughts. We are the one thinking those thoughts, right? Okay, so if we are able to observe the thoughts, you may wonder, who is the observer? And that is when this amazing journey begins. Because the observer is the self. See, when we talk about the ego and the self, usually we are in touch and we know and we recognize the ego. But the self many times is behind, because the ego, occupies the whole stage. Yeah. I'm not going to say ego is good or bad. I'm not going to get into that today. But when you are able to step back and observe your thoughts, observe your emotions, it doesn't mean you're not feeling them, but you can observe, oh my God, I'm feeling this. Just observing, acknowledging, and accepting. And the more you do it, the more you practice becoming the observer, observing thoughts, emotions, feelings, and everything, you are working on rewiring those connections in your brain. And little by little, you're going to be able to disconnect from those thoughts that are creating or have been creating the story of your life. Because what happens when we have the same thoughts, and you're going to realize that you're going to be thinking the same thoughts every day for many days, sometimes for weeks. And those thoughts create a story that you believe is true. But I can tell you the truth about that story. We can discuss about it. It's not really that way. We can create any story we want. It's just our interpretation of the reality, and it's the story we create in our mind. And that story is influenced by fears, doubts, beliefs, sometimes coming to us from who knows where, family, people around us, past lives, possible. And that story that we create in our mind is a story about ourselves, that we are convincing ourselves that that is our reality, and we start acting from there. Did you realize moments when you get your list, right? You have your list, and you go over the thoughts, and you may have an opinion about the person who wrote these thoughts, how this person is feeling in general about herself. And many times you may find that most of those thoughts are coming maybe from the opinions of family members, maybe your mother, maybe your father, maybe your siblings, maybe your, some family members close to you when you were growing up. And those maybe are even beliefs that you never question, that you accept as a fact that that is the way it is, but you never ever question them and you believe those are true. So, what I am offering here is a different perspective to deal with the turmoil of, being in the process of getting over a breakup or a broken heart. I know it's hard, but we need to be very careful with the thoughts we think and very careful with what we allow in our system to touch us at this moment. It's a step-by-step process. And I would like to support you all the way. That's why I wrote this ebook called Broken Heart First Aid that offers 5 steps to deal with, the first days, the first weeks of a breakup, taking care of your body, your emotions, your thoughts, and everything, with a lot of ideas about what to do for you to feel a little better, more centered, more focused and grounded, which is so necessary, and how to deal with the emotions and all the stress that probably you are going through right now. In the description, there is a link to my ebook. You can click on that link and have access to this free ebook that was made with compassion, with care, and much love for you. I hope you enjoyed this video. Share it with your friends and let me know what you think in the comments. I would love to hear, how do you deal with thoughts? Are you aware that you can, somehow change the story that you are creating in your mind? Do you think it's possible? Do you think it's not possible? What do you think about how do you feel about knowing that there must be a way that we can change those thoughts and that way change our story? All right? See you next time. Namaste.